I guess, Michael, come on in here, so you're standing right with me.
You won't be able to hear me.
Well, look, this is one of the things that we try to do is to make sure we set priorities so that the needs that people have are met. And this is a case where you walk through this facility. It is a great facility. It's a combination of kids who have some disabilities, kids who are just mainstream kids, collaboration between the Jobs and Family Services, people that can afford to pay, privately, and the YMCA, and the thing that it's just a great place. And we decided early on that child care was critical. I mean, it's critical to moms and dads. It's critical for moms who had dads that ran out on them, and they've got the children, and we want moms to be able to work. And we've got a situation here where it is safe. They're learning. It's great education. Kids are being mainstreamed. I mean, I think as most of you have followed me over the time, I love kids, and this is a wonderful, wonderful place to be. And I'm going to be able to go to Dayton this afternoon and celebrate it. Michael runs, he has so many programs inside of Jobs and Family Services, and he's put together a great staff. And this whole child care area, we just carved it out as a priority, which means, they keep thanking me, and I say, look, don't thank me, just explain to people that in our state we have to set our priorities, and our priorities here for taking care of these children and letting moms and dads go to work, and it's just great stuff. Michael, anything you want to add? Well, hear you.
I'd like to say that the governor's commitment to child care has been unwavering throughout the entire budget process. We see it as twofold. One, if children are in a safe environment, then their parents are comfortable. And we didn't just cut in this budget. We went through, we not only have a child care program, but we have a quality program. So we've got less teachers in the classroom, we've got better education for the teachers, and we've got a better environment for the children. So the governor's commitment to this issue from the standpoint of going back to work, from the standpoint of having children in a safe environment, has been excellent in this area.
Yeah, so I'm glad we did this. There's some early childhood education going on. My wife is a very big proponent of it. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got to understand how we can improve things. But right here in Ohio right now, we feel pretty good, and the staff here, I always ask people to be direct and honest with me, and at least at this point, all they've had to say is thanks for making us a priority, and but we're always open to what better ways in which we can help our children. So take a few questions before I head to my Bible study. Questions?
There is a 7% cut in the reimbursement rate the state pays providers. How are you expecting them to be able to handle that?
I'm going to let Michael answer that, but part of this is an effort to make sure that, for example, in the private settings, that people are not moving kids around between people who get reimbursements, which, as Michael would describe, as kind of gaming the system. And he has a provision coming out on May the 1st that we think is going to be able to get us in the right position. But the one thing we don't want to do is, one of the first questions I ask, because this is a not-for-profit YMCA kind of a deal, what about private providers? And they have concerns about the private providers who are basically not regulated, and it's something we just need to think about. Michael?
Well, keep in mind that we have over $100 million less in child care now due to stimulus and due to TANF reductions that we had. So the child care program is smaller, but with those less dollars, we were able to maintain all children that are on child care will be able to stay on child care. Now, to your point, part of working with the provider community was to take the 7% cut. But in doing that, we still maintain the quality budget. So the provider community is very supportive of us in this budget, and they continue to be, especially since we maintain the quality provisions.
You want to talk about the May 1 rule you're going to have?
May 1st, we're going to have a new rule that's going to come out. The May 1st rule will do two things. The first is it will limit our Type B home providers to one child to a full-time. So each child gets one full-time, and they can have either a full-time and a part-time or two part-times. The second thing it does is it limits the number of children to providers. So each child only has 2 providers. So a lot of what you're hearing as far as the gaming of the system or the passing the children around is broken down by the fact that our new rules will come out May 1st, which will limit some of this.
I'm sorry, did you say child care centers will have 1 full-time staff for every child at the center? Is that
a full-time and a part-time rate. So they will have 1 full-time rate, which means you can have a child there for 8 hours on a full-time, or you can have a part-time, which means you go to work in the evening and you can take your child to a part-time. But you can't have 2 full-times. 1 full-time, 1 part-time, or either 2 part-times.
So it's just designed to bring some order to the system and make sure that we're guarding the funds. But I think it's important to know that nobody, as a result of what we've done in the budget, is being dropped from the rolls. They'll all continue to be able to get child care, which means we have to set priorities. And for people that can give a little bit up, that's what we're asking them to do in the name of making sure that we can have high priorities, like our children, which are their highest priorities. And then you add into that, if you walk through this facility, you see that there are some developmentally disabled children here, and you see very dedicated staff. I mean, these are the unsung heroes of our state. These are people that somehow the Lord has given them the patience, has given them the good hearts to be able to deal with people. The dentist, it turns out, we have a lot of friends, a lot of he's a Hispanic gentleman. We have friends that are close to him, and he could make a lot more money. But as he says, I just love this, and so this is just a beautiful place where people have just decided that they can tend to our kids. You see those kids that maybe 25 years ago, when I was a kid, I mean, let's go a little bit longer than that. These are children sometimes that they wouldn't have been mainstream. They wouldn't have gotten the attention they deserve. And, I believe in that God-given destiny. And these people are helping to get these kids to be as good as they can possibly be. And they're very young. What I like also is the fitness and the movement, the body movement and the colors and the fact that they have great interaction with kids of all types. This is going to lead them to a really good place as they get older, because they're only here till they're about 6 years old, and then they move on. But what a great experience at an early age. So,
Governor, do you know? Because as it's been said, in the last biennium there were $100 million in stimulus funds that went to things like this, the early child care. So, where is the money coming from in your budget to pay for early child care this time?
Well, Joe, we have an $8 billion structural deficit that we have erased, but there are savings that we've made, and so it's not a matter of we plucked from this and put in here. It's a matter of the way you do it is you say, what are your highest priorities? Mm-hmm. Then you establish your priorities, and Joe, to a degree, I could say this: there has been incredible mismanagement in this state. And there was a period here for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. Now this budget's been out. People are going through it. We had to explain to you how we even balanced the budget. People couldn't figure it out. There's a reporter in here who says, I don't know how this happened. Well, we had to make some significant changes, but part of the deal is things had been so badly mangled in the state for so long that the ability of people like Michael and the rest of the cabinet to come up with that 10 to 15% savings, you've got limited complaints. And as you see more and more data coming out on the schools, where if you strip stimulus money out, I think what they're saying now is if you take the state money and the local money, you're looking at schools basically losing about 5%. And if you add in all the things that tools we're trying to give them, it's very manageable. They just got to take the tools and embrace the tools. But it's a matter of just setting your priorities. And, these kids, they're a high priority for me, and then you just kind of keep working. And as I've said all along, this year is the toughest year. It'll get better, and everybody pitches in, we'll be okay.